you some video clip too. And I realize this. It's not kung fu, but understand this?
No.
You understand it? No?
I like the metaphorical.
What's the metaphor? It's very interesting. What's that?
It's just basically like how the flies are basically like the distraction to him, and then he just kind of found, like he just lived in the moment and kind of just like had those, once he started meditating, he kind of let those distractions go away, like stop letting them borrow.
Oh, you got that? Wow, you learned Kung Fu before? Yeah, give me the number. Let's see. You are third system then. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite clip. You understand now? What do you understand?
I mean, for me, like a fly is very distracting. The buzzing noise, I mean, like it's all about practice to get rid of the noise, I guess.
Okay.
For me, noise is very distracting and it's hard to turn off, not to or hear.
Yeah. So he know Kung Fu, right? He just spit at first. The fly bugged him on his face, right? So he spit up the fly, and the fly become two. Two become four. Four become eight, and so forth and so forth. What's mean? Yes?
Once you let yourself become distracted, there'll be more and more and more distracted.
It's more aggravate. And what happened when this is so confusion? All kind of flies around him, and he saw on the picture the fly become a flower. It's so significant meaning there. To what mean? How could the fly become a flower? How?
How you look at it?
Yeah. If you don't pay attention on them, they like the flower. If you just let them go, they would not bother you anymore. So that's why, remember, at the last scene, his hand hold a fly, and he releases, the fly become a flower. So those are mind. Remember I told you that these two main obstructions when we are doing meditations. The first one is rumination, the running thoughts, chasing thoughts. That's the first one. Second one is sleepiness. So of course when we're sleepy, we could not concentrate much, right? But the first one is more important, right? When you sit there, both have common, right? The more you try to suppress them, the more they will come up. Yeah. And that's why the more he tries to split the fly, the more they come up. So all the thing is you accept and move on. Just recognize them and move on. That is so okay. And so that's why it is so applicable when you do meditation. Yeah, even the fly or mosquito or whichever. Of course, if you sit outdoor, and sometimes it tests me too. Sometimes even I stay in the temple, somehow the fly just fly around. I couldn't concentrate well, but let go. So again, it just tests our concentrations, right? So no matter what, when you let go of the external tension, be more focused. That's the whole idea. Don't try to distract. Don't try to suppress them. Don't try to chase them away. Just let them the way they are. You're more peaceful. That's why today we learn about what we call 5 ranks in the Soto or Caodong tradition. It is similar as where I told you that this the Taoist way. Go with the flow. Don't go against the current. That's all. Alright, so I missed you, Mr.
Number 8.
Okay. You want to watch it one more time? It's so hard to see. Oh, you missed that one too, right? Alright, let's watch it. It's only 1 minute. I think it's still interesting. Yeah, watch carefully. See that? It's just like one thought pop up in your mind. It's bothering you. If you try to split it up, if you try to chase away or kill it, it's split up by 2. You understand now, right? So that is what the rumination of the thought. So don't chase away, don't try to suppress them, let them be. Of course, all kind of noises in our mind, right? All kind of things what we concern, just let them go to focus on the mind. That's the idea. Alright, so let's go back to the lesson today. So today we talk about the Caodong, just sitting, and let's do one more time. So this is Zen editions beyond the logic and definitions. Remember that this what we call the traditions go beyond the textual transmission. That doesn't rely upon the sutras. Remember I told you the story that a student asked the Zen master about the Buddha nature. So the master say, "What was your face before you were born?" Remember that? There's no way in the Buddhist text or sutra talk about that. It's only you to recognize by yourself. That's why they call outside the sealed text and formulate the scripture, kill the Buddha. You guys look so strange, right? Actually, this Thursday we talk about lynching. He come up with this idea. He say, if you see your parents, kill your parents. If you see your teachers, kill your teacher. If you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha. It's go against the basic Buddhist ethics, right? But not actually killing physically the mind. Make sense? So let's say when someone sits in meditation, somehow the thought of, let's say you remember about your parents or whoever you love, right? So in this sense, the Zen master say, the meaning is to let them go. It's not to actually kill them, but to let them go. That's the meaning. There's a story that a young monk, he went to pilgrimage to the holy mountain in China. Just worship the wisdom Bodhisattva. So when he went there, he couldn't see anyone else. So he went back to his monastery. And his jobs at monastery, in the past, hundreds of thousands of monks lived together in one big monastery. So his job was a chef. He cooked food for people, for monks. They use a big pot, not a small pot, because they cook for hundreds of thousands monks per day. So why he used the stick to steal the rice? When it's steaming, you need to steal the rice. So there's a smoke come up, right? And with that smoke, that Bodhisattva appear, the wisdom Bodhisattva appear, that we call Manchu Bodhisattva, appear in the smoke. And he used the stick, he hit that smoke, it hits that Bodhisattva, and somehow he heard this other, before you went to my mountain to look for me, but now I appear in front of you and you hit me. You understand that? So, you understand the analogy there? What does it mean? You guys don't understand? Yes?
At the moment he was cooking rice, so like it was a distraction. But when he went to, he was looking for it, so it appeared then he was okay.
Yeah. Especially when you sit in meditation, probably a couple hours or more, there's all kind of illusions that appear in your mind. If you don't have the wisdom, if you don't have the right teachers to guide you, you may go crazy. Because let's say if now you use your finger, just press your eyeball, press wow. What happens when you release that? You see some kind of spot. Is that right? So there's our mind and body connections. Remember when we concentrate our mind, remember we studied about that, right? That our brain may change in different ways, in the past way. So when you concentrate your mind up to the point that you would not pay attention much about the sensation and so forth, so you have some kind of illusions that appear in your mind. So it's happened to everyone. It happened to me too. That sometimes we may see in our mind, not the real one, that everything is white, or everything is crystal, everything is gold, or the flower fall down, or you can see the Buddha, Jesus, and so forth. They appear, and that state of mind. And if you don't know that, if you attach to one of them, right, you get lost. For example, while you drive the car on the road, right, from freeway, what happens if you see something is on the resin on the side of the road? While you're driving, what you see the front, right? While you're driving, you pay attention on the front, but somehow you see something on the right, on the left side, right side of your car. What happens? You turn your face to that one. You maybe crash. So there's meditation. So let go of distraction. That's why he hit the smoke. It's not the real one. Make sense? So that's what the meaning about kill the Buddha and so forth. So you have to understand in metaphor. They are the metaphors for you to understand the actual one. Okay, so see the own nature, the nature of our own beings. That's so important. Remember, I told you in the therapies, you need to progress your meditative state of mind from first jhana to second, and so forth, step by step. But here, in Zen tradition, you don't need to go step by step. Just see through your nature, your Buddha nature, Buddha natures, and that's the purpose of doing Zen meditation. That's why whether you sit, stand, walk, or wherever, if you recognize that's all you need. This is quite different from attending the state of jhana step by step. So that is the whole idea. Yeah, cannot find Zen in word or action, but they do point the way. And that's why they use the Quan. Remember last time we talked about Quan to provoke your doubt. And actually, last time I forgot to talk about the Quan. They say that the greater doubt, the better chance for you to be awakened. Remember, there's two types of doubt. Remember, we talked about that, right? The first one is the negative one. The second one is the positive one. The negative one, that you may have doubt. I cannot handle this test. Sometimes some people, they scare of driving. Right? Especially on the freeway, you have that problems. Right? They scare. They may head down to the road, they head down to the cliff and so forth. But because of their doubt of their themselves, they don't have the confidence, right? Or when you take a test, when you have interview and so forth, you may have that type of self-doubt about yourself, so you could not handle things. That harm you, that just obstruct your path. But the positive one is, remember which we talked about Newton, right? He thought about some law and so forth, somehow, boom, suddenly the apple dropped on his head. Right? And this is many invention that has happened accidentally, that people think about that, thought about that kind of stuff for a while until they recognize that with that kind of incident. So that's a positive doubt. So that's why in the Zen tradition, the master gave the Zen student the koan, so that they can think about, not think about, but they use that to provoke their intuitions. Like in another Quan, as somehow they use they combine the practice of Zen tradition and the Pure Land. In Pure Land traditions, that the practitioner need to recite Buddha names so that they can be reborn after they pass away to land. So in Zen tradition, they say they have the Quan. Who is reciting the Buddha names? It's similar to what was your face before you were born. That's all. The ultimate goal is to help the student to recognize the Buddha nature, whichever way. Remember, we talk about this later on. This I will show you too. Who carry the corpse around? You understand that? Who? I said again, the essential need is the Buddha nature. No matter where we are, no matter what kind of forms we have, male, female, and so forth, we still carry on that type of nature with ourselves. That pure nature. We look at nature, a compassionate nature, that's within ourselves. So that's why they want the student to recognize us by our own experience, not by learning the teaching. Yeah, and of course focus on here and now. Yeah, and especially if we talk about the six patriarchs. He was poor man, and he recognized us first, right? That don't attach to the form, don't attach to the sound, just rely upon your pure mind. That's what I talk about. Okay, and this is what we call. Remember, we talk about the certain enlightenment and gradual enlightenment. Sometimes you recognize something on the spot, but need time for you to work out, right? Sometimes, or you someone who, let's say, addicted with cigarette, for example, right? They say, oh, okay, I recognize. One day, let's say they recognize how nicotine or chemical affect their lungs, right? Even they have to learn, they have to hear from many people, but suddenly something happened. They recognize us, but it takes time for them to change the chemicals that's been permitted deep into their blood system. So they have to change their habits. Yeah. So again, this is the charge about the Zen master in the past. Okay, the relationship between the Zen master and the students is pretty close, because in the past, whenever the student came to the Zen master, gave them some kind of koans or coin or contemplative questions so that they can work on. But the master need to guide them, not to let them do it by themselves. So the relationship is still close, as from time to time the master would ask him about what kind of awakening, what kind of insight that they may have, so that the master can zen them, can guide them. So the zazen here is the basic method for meditation, means sitting, close your eyes, probably they sit for days, hours, and so forth. And probably if we have time, I will show you the short video clips about how they do meditation up to now too. Here, you may not believe, right? So I was trained in that tradition too. Let's say in the monastery, a temple, people sit around like when you went to my temple, people sit around, and let's say when someone falls asleep, there's one monk who will be assigned to walk around to check for people. If they saw someone fall asleep, what happened then? They use it to hit them, but in a gentle way, in the proper way. Yeah, most times they hit on the shoulder to wake him up, not because of anger, but to wake him up. That's what we call here. And eating too, simple abuse. Okay. So this is the lifestyle in the sense Zen life. So whenever the master recognizes the student understand or recognize pure nature, Buddha nature, they would what they call get that type of authorities, what they call mind to myself or recognition. Okay, and this will be practiced by anyone, monks, lay people, or any times, any place. So this is the Quran here. Can you see this? Can you read that? What do you do when you have free yourself from all desire, except the desire to be free from desire? You understand that? What's mean? What's mean?
You desire to be free from desire, so
Yeah.
you still want something.
Yeah, it's still, even when you sit there, or even when you starting, right? Especially I want to use the analogy when you take a test. When you take in the test, you have the desire, right? You have the wish, you can say that you get an A on this test. What happened? You may be nervous. You have that kind of thought, right? So it's better to let it go, so that you can concentrate on the test alone. So that's the whole idea. Monk asked the master, does a dog have Buddha nature? The master said no. Buddhist means no. Is that right? Our the dog has Buddha nature? The cat? Yes or no?
What's
Huh?
What's mean?
Buddhist no. Yes, but why? In general, in Buddhist concept, in Buddhist approach, all human animals, visible and invisible beings have Buddha nature. But in this particular case, the Zen master replied as no. Why?
Because dogs act on instinct.
Excuse me.
They act on instinct.
Act on instinct. Okay. What else? Actually, you know, I'll tell you the story behind this bond. So it's two laymen. Actually, two students came to see this master and asked the same question. The first student came up and asked him, "Does dog have Buddha nature?" He said yes. But the second student came to ask him the same question, and he said no. Why is that? And of course, you wanted to, right? Why? At first, for the first person, he said yes, but for the second one, he said no. Why is that? He changed his mind? What do you think? Anything? No, he doesn't. He didn't change his mind. So he explained further. Yes, the first question, first person who put that question to him, he said yes. Yeah, it's common sense in Buddhist circle that animals like dogs has Buddha nature too. It's common sense. But the reason why this applied to the second one, no. He said that because of the karma that obstructs the dog mind, that he could not recognize Buddha nature by itself. You understand that? That's why he said no. So that does mean that he flip-flop, just say yes and say no later on. So you have to understand the story behind that. Okay. And what is the sound of one hand clapping? You heard about this before? So what's the sound of one hand clapping then? Have two hands, right? Make the sound. How about one hand? No. How about one finger? Can you make the sound? One finger, can you make it? So why is this? What's the sound then? Huh?
Silence.
Silent. Yes. Remember I told you the story about the bell. Remember that? So how is connect with the sound one hand then, not connected.
Through the mind.
Huh?
Through the mind.
Yeah. What else? Remember, I hit the bell, right? And when I hit the bell, you say I held that, and after that, for a while, you could not hear anything. You say no, right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong? Remember? Right or wrong?
Wrong, because technically you can still like remember the sound of the bell, right?
What did you say again?
It's because, didn't you say that technically we could still remember the sound of the bell?
Not remember.
Or,
Ability to hear, not remember. We have ability to hear. We have ability to see. The ability that's mean you can say that the intuition or the potential to hear that.
Shurikama, Sutra, right?
Mm-hmm. So again, whether it's just the sound 2 hand, the sound 1 hand, the sound finger, the sound still there. Your ability to hear is still there. That's what it's about. So that's why in the Zen tradition, it's helped you to live up the different paradigms of life. Live out, step out of the what called duality, good, bad, black, white, and so forth, right? And remember I told you this story, right? The flags is moving or the wind is moving. Which one is moving? Our mind is moving, right? Whichever it is. And when you walk into the room, if your mind peaceful, and it's okay, right? If at that moment, let's say on that day, you may be angry about whoever, or you may be scared or be nervous, the room is quite different. Is that right? At school, at home too. So that's depend upon your mood, right? Depend upon your emotion on that particular times. If you're peaceful, everything will be peaceful, be happy. But if something happened to your mind, right? So it is chaos. I remember that this one theorist say the world is violent because this mind is violent. So that's why in Buddhist view it say that if you have peaceful mind, you will have peaceful life. See, the same, it's exactly the same. And I used to tell one monk, he said that, I told you before too, what you think is what you eat and drink. If you think is simple, you eat and drink some simple food. If your mind is so complicated, you look at the way you eat, the way you dress, and so forth. You understand that? And so that's why in Zen meditation help us to revise or unbound that type of attachment. So, okay, here happiness is the absence of striving for happiness. When you try, the more you try, the more you be farther away. So it's there, right there. Seeking enlightenment, inquiry within. Where's the door? There's no door. Right? Remember the sixth patriarch said that there's no Buddha. The Buddhist no stand, the mirror. There's no Bodhi tree. There's no mirror. This is just only the pure mind. That's the idea there. First there is the mountain, then there's no mountain, then there's. You understand this sense then? Sometimes it's confusion, right? This is when you study Zen tradition, Zen saying you step into different paradigms again. What's mean? So actually, let me tell you a story behind this sense then. So it's monks. He before he passed away, he told his student, the first 30 years, I see the mountains was a mountain. And the next 30 years, I saw the mountain was not the mountain. And the last 30 years, I saw the mountain was a mountain. What's mean? Remember, 30, even 90 years of his life. Why? The first 30 years, he saw the mountains was a mountain. Of course, like us, right? Like rock is rock, rooms is room, and so forth. Everything is real. Is that right? This next 30 years, he saw everything is illusion. Right? In Buddhist view, right? This thing come and go. What we call the emptiness. Remember, we talk about emptiness of things. Things come because of conditions, right? But what happened? The last one, then there is a mountain for the last 30 years. It recognizes us. That's all. That's the way they are. So that's why I used to tell my followers, you know, most of the time we blame on other people to make us upset, right? To get mad or to get into trouble. Of course, you know, we have the habit to pardon about what we call blaming games. Is that right? Because of you, I get mad. Because of you, I'm unhappy. Because of the other people, I lost, and so forth and so forth. Is that right? Mm-hmm. But in the end of the day, who is that? We are the one who need to take the blame of our mistake. So that's why when we recognize as the way they are, if they, let's say, if they're children, right? Of course, as children, they run around. At my temple, you see, they run around. And if they're not running around, if they're not playing this, we don't call them children. No, so don't get mad if somehow they break your, probably laptop or whichever valuable, right? Of course, you need to keep them away to keep those items from them. But sometimes when you encounter, let's say some, let's say stubborn people, for example, and whichever thing you want to negotiate with, whichever thing you want to explain, but they shut their door, or they just bother you, and so forth. What should you do then? That's their problems. Eventually, they need to solve their own problems. The best way is to solve your own. So that's why in our monastery we used to say that, watch out, clean your clothes. You don't need to clean other people's clothes. You understand that? You clean a mess first. A mess in the mind.
It reminds me of telling my son last year, he had a bad problem with bullying, and he got in trouble once because he yelled back at the bully, and the bully had been kicking him and calling names and everything else, and I told him, I was like, well, the anger is your fault. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and was like, why? I was like, you're responsible for your actions and your things. He's responsible for that. Yeah. You let him goad you into it, and you let him. Therefore, your anger is your responsibility. And he sat back and was just like, you're right. And I was like, yeah, so if you didn't let it bother you, you just ignored it and let it go by, wouldn't they'll do anything to you.
Yeah. It's like you're driving the car, people curse, cut you off and so forth, right? So this is their problems. And not our problem. So it depends on how we deal with things. So again, if we accept the things as the way they are, we more at peace with ourselves. Right? And is that in the past way? Let's say you have a son, right? Mm-hmm. What happened is you mess around too much. And you say, oh, because he's my son, because he's still a boy, I let him to mess up everything, I left him to break everything. Is that okay? No, that's different story. It makes sense. As parents, we still live here. As parents, we need to be responsible, right? To guide them. Of course, when they grown up, when they are 18 and above, they take their own responsibility, whichever thing they do. So when something is in our hand, I remember we talked about that. When something is in our hand, when we are be responsible for something, we need to do, not just get that things moving. This is quite different. Okay, so just dirty skeleton, a living man who sit and does not lie down, a dead man who lie down and does not sit. After all, it's just dirty skeleton. again, this is not attachment. One story again, I want to tell you that. One student who liked to sit on the rock every day. So one day, after that student walked away from that rock or boulder, so the teacher, the master, went out to write the word Buddha on the rock, on the place where he sat. In Buddhist view, yes. Other Buddhists, whether they are laymen or especially monastics, we have to be respectful to Buddha's statue, even the words too. So we be respectful if someone sits on that word, the word Buddha. So when the student came back, he saw the word Buddha. He didn't dare to sit there. He didn't dare to sit on that rock anymore. Of course, in Zen tradition, it goes beyond that type of attachment. Like remember I told you the story that the monk who burned the wooden Buddha statue. Of course, for common people, they cannot do that. But for the master, they have the skill to teach students to get out of the kind of attachment. The bridge is flowing. When I pass over the bridge, the water flows not, but the bridge is flowing. That's the mind. Right? So, empty hand. I go, yet the spray is in my hand. I walk on the foot. And yes, I'm riding on the back of an ox. You understand this? What does it mean? You understand this? Jonathan, you understand this one? What does it mean then? What does it mean? Well, it's probably the second one is what is. I walk on the foot, and yet I'm riding on the back of an ox. An ox means, water buffalo. Mm-hmm. What's meant then? Do you recognize us? Remember the day that we practice walking meditation? Do you still do that walking meditation every day?
I'll
Try. How about normally how you walk? You will pay attention on your walking, right? That's why we say that I walk on foot and yet I'm riding on the back of the ox. That means you just let go. You don't pay attention on your walking. It's like you stand, you're riding on the back of the ox. Just let the ox or the buffalo to carry you away, or just let the thought to carry you away. You are not mindful with every step that you do. That's what's talking about. Okay. So that's why unless you understand the Zen philosophy or principle, otherwise you get lost. You will not understand much. A perfect way, perfect way is no difficulties. If you wish to see it with your own eyes, have no fixed thought, either for or against it. Let me go down. I think this one is a very famous one. You have not seen this before, right? Okay. Let me show you this short little clips. What's called 10 ox hidden pictures. It shows step by step is in the progress of your meditative state of mind too. Yeah, pay attention on the writing. Yeah, I think it would explain to you step by step. Let's say when you just sit there, when you sit in the meditation, we have no idea where to look for. All we see is confusion arising from our thought, right, and feeling. All kind of thoughts. When you sit down, right, all kind of thoughts that need to be settled out. That's the first stage. And it's called seeking the ox. Okay, you understand this second step? When you sit there, you're looking for, or you want to calm down your mind, but all kind of sound like that gentleman, right? He tried to split up the fly and so forth. All kind of confusion, sound, picture, image, conversation, and so forth in our mind. That's what the second one. This is still the first one. Seeing the trace. And so, like when you do breath meditation, eventually, right? Remember, we try out 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, we recognize as 3 minutes is more suitable, right? At that moment, you could recognize your breath. So that's the see the trace here, the second step here. This means that at that moment you recognize your breath step by step there. So at that moment you recognize that. You recognize breath clearly, just fighting the ox. You understand this? So when you see your breath, when you recognize your breath, even when you recognize your feeling, but it's not easy. It may come and go. You could not recognize in a clear way. That's why it's called catching the ox. So you really focus on your breath. Right? As you recognize as breath and your mind is one. As like you gentle and train your breath there, train your mind there too. That's number 5. Why you when you're in tune with your breath, you may be free from anxiety or fear. Why is that? Why? When you're really in tune with your breath, you're in tune with, let's say, with your writing, with your flower, whichever subject you focus on. Why? When you may be free from anxiety, from any emotion. Why?
No attachment, no anxiety.
And
You're not thinking about it.
if you focus on that,
Yeah.
right, your mind will be peaceful. You guys have tests coming up this week,
Yes.
so you apply any ways, any meditation techniques yet? You feel better?
I took a test today.
Huh?
I took a test today, and before, like walking towards the classroom, I was like breathing, doing the breathing meditation and walking at the same time. Like walking meditation, doing class. It kind of like helped me clear my mind a little bit more, I guess.
Or you
I
feel
get really
better?
bad anxiety.
Huh?
I get like really bad anxiety, so like I just breathe. I like tell myself just breathe. So it's the breathing is like that nature.
If you have problem with headache, actually my own experience, that either you can help yourself by walking or standing too. When we stand, all the weight is on our foot, right? So if we have so much in here, happening here, so when we pay attention of our foot, all the pressure will be released down, will be let down to the floor. That's why we have standing. Remember, we have standing meditation, right? And when work too, when you work and just remember that you're working and let go of all thought or of whichever stress and that is go flow out of your feet to the ground. And even it's much easier for you to remember, especially when you're taking a shower. Remember the water, right? The shower when you use when the water pour on the top, right? Do we stay there forever? No, it flows down to your through or to the top, to down to your feet and down to the floor. So if you have that kind of, you can say, imagination, or even when you take in the shower, you think of yourself, all this bad stuff here, all the thinking, all the mess up here, that I worry too much, I concern too much, I let go of them, like using the water to flush them out, to clean them out, so that they can be dissipated through the floor. It makes sense? Have you done this thing before? Yes, you did? Okay.
I used to do a guided meditation that like had you like imagine being on the beach and having the water wash all those tension.
There's many ways.
Yeah.
If you have good skill in visualization, yeah, we can do that. Especially, I love the way that taking a shower or I stand in, because the weight we put on the foot, so we less the pressure up here, from our head down to the floor, down to our feet, and dissipate through the floor. So that's the way. It's delayed to meditation. Okay, so let's finish up this one. So that's I ride up slowly homeward. That means we can control our mind. We can be with our mind. Up transcend. Actually, the office is a pure mind. It's not different. So, the circle in Zen tradition is so important. There's so significant meanings. Let me start it. Why circle is so important? Why is that?
Because it's infinity, like it never ends.
Yeah. What
Also
else?
begins.
Yeah.
Emptiness too.
Yeah.
Emptiness as well.
That's why I give the analogy that when you fly on the sky, right? When you look outside the window of the airplane, you see that the vast horizon of the sky. There's no limit there. But we here in the room, we're limited by the walls and so forth. Let's limit our views. So that's what it represents too. Represents our pure nature, good nature, whichever great nature we can recognize. Return to the source, return to the pure mind, the Buddha mind, whichever you call it. Oh, here. Let's see. You know the Happy Buddha statue, right? You have that. You know whenever you go to Chinese or Vietnamese restaurant, you see happy.
The one with the smiley face.
Smile, the big belly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a story about him. Because this is about this. So all the Buddhas, Bodhisattva, even Arhat, the holy one, they don't show up their second power, but they will show them, and after that they be God. So according to the legend, So this Maitreya Bodhisattva, that means the future Buddhas, he came down and manifest himself as a Buddhist monk in China. So he carried the bags with him. Wherever he goes, people give him food. Yes, he put everything inside that bags. And he get the food, candy, and so forth to the children. It's like the Santa Claus. So one day he met a monk. That monk asked him, "What's the meaning of Buddhism?" So he didn't say anything. He dropped his bag down. You understand that? That's what he answered. When that monk asked him, "What's the meaning of Buddhism? What are the essential meanings of Buddhism?" So he dropped his bag down. You understand what's that? You know what's the meaning? Why? Is that what's mean when that monk asked him the essential meanings of Buddhism? He dropped his bag down, put it back down. Yes, let him go. Let him go will be free. Free from attachment, free from violence and so forth. That's the essential meanings of Buddhism. Because every day we attach, we are tied up with everything, with most of things, right? Food, cars, conversation, and so forth. So the essential meaning of Buddhism is let him go. Is that so? That's the next question the monk asked him. And what happened? Who cares? What he do after that? After that monk asked him, is that so? He picked up the bag and move on. What's the meaning?
And you already answered. He was letting go of the question.
Okay, and but what happened when the monk asked him, is that so? Is that so for the meaning of Buddhism? So he picked up the bars and move on. So what's the meaning then?
Was he continuing his path?
Yes, what else? That's a bit different. That's a bit different between two traditions, the Mahayana and Theravada. We learn, right, Theravada, right? Yeah, of course, in this course you don't study much about Buddhism, but I give you some broad understanding about Buddhism, Mahayana. So the path here is to attain nirvana, the multiple goal. Nirvana, get out of the birth cycle or samsara. Samsara, or the birth cycle. That's the purpose. That's the main purpose of Zen, of Theravada traditions, of Vipassana tradition. Just be free from mental affliction. Let go of everything. Like the first state, that when the monk asked him what's the meaning, what's the essential meanings of Buddhism, they drop his back down. That means let go of things. They will attain nirvana. They will be free from attachment, free from whichever emotion they have. But in Mahayana tradition, it doesn't stop here. The next stop after you be free, you help others. Entering the world. That's what we call Bodhisattva path. Bodhisattva path. That's what big. That's what we call the second step or the advanced step in Mahayana tradition is they don't stop here. It's just move forward, enter the world, help other people. Let's say, especially in Zen tradition, they say that, let's say, after you wake up from your dreams, wake up in the morning, and let's say your friends, your family members, they lie down there and somehow they have nightmare. And you stand there, look at them, and you somehow you may hear the sound or see the action that person express because he has nightmare. Would you stay there or you will wake him up? Would you stay still, or you will wake him up? Wake him up. So those what they call Mahayana approach. In other words, helping other people to wake them up as where you are, or even when you go to school, you may be TA, right? Or you may have maybe tutor. You have your friends. So this is what they call. This is the self. Say self-service, self. You have this is the way you have yourself. This is the way you have yourself and have other too. Okay, so okay, how about you like to do 3 minutes? If you're sleepy? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's do 3 minutes, so relax ourselves. And let's go over everything, it's up to you. If you want to count your breath, but it's better if you can count your breath, follow your breath, and let's go over everything. Do you have any tests after this? No, but this week, right? We just practice, right? Just focus on your breath and those thoughts won't bother you too much. Of course, after this, you just remind yourself after focusing on my breath, I will come back to study and so forth, right? Okay, so let's do 3 minutes, please. before we move on, you guys start to do something for your final paper yet? So in so far only you to do presentation. Anyone think have a second thought about doing presentation? Can let me know. Okay. All right. So yes.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Is there going to be class Thursday? This Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Because my other professors canceled class because of the game.
Oh.
Because you're gonna have to pay parking.
It's gonna be a complete disaster.
There's a game on Thursday, so they're gonna close the lots, and you have to pay cash.
Yeah.
Really?
It's
We
like
have a Thursday game
They close the
against
midnight.
Memphis.
They close the midnight before classes start.
so it'll
on
close
Thursday.
Wednesday night, and when you come, you have to pay cash to park in the lots.
Everywhere. Every
Everywhere,
student?
most of them.
I think the faculty. No, I don't
It's
know.
Faculty,
like-
you're good.
it's
But
only
for
like
student
two.
lots, it's either cash or you have to be there before 4 p.m. or you
And-
have to leave after 4 p.m.
And I think the game starts at.
7.
Oh, I thought it was 3 or 4.
You have to, no, depending on where you park, you have to be gone by 4 p.m. That's when they turn most lots into cash.
But from morning to 4, they still allow you
You
to
should
park
be,
the car.
you should be fine. You should be fine. It just depends on which parking lot you park. So
Okay.
look at the email, look at your parking lot, because there's a whole map.
Mhm.
And it's in 3, it's green, blue, and yellow. I think yellow closes Wednesday midnight, blue closes noon Thursday,
Okay.
and red is you have to be gone by 4 p.m.
Parking
Thursday.
garages are, you're out the day before though.
Yes, parking garages are,
Right.
Yeah, I have no parking. I
or you can park
at
in the ERP and take the bus.
Mm.
Which sucks, it just,
Is
there's no good
park in the
option.
garage?
I was just gonna Uber here that day.
Me too.
Actually, you know, on this Thursday, I may invite a Buddhist nun to come here to talk to you there too. She spent 17 years in India. She was Vietnamese. She spent 17 years in India. 17 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
And she got a PhD degree in Buddhist study over there too. And she spent another 3 years in Sri Lanka for doing meditation. If I don't know, if you come, I will invite her to come to talk with your guy.
Everyone should be good, just check the email and make sure you're not gonna get
I'm
too
walking.
Yeah, I don't think I'm coming Thursday. Well, because all my other classes are canceled, so.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah, so on Thursday, like
most
this
class?
is, yeah, this would be the only one that I would have to come to.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Does this happen every semester? Or
Sometimes
once
there's like one game and they're like, don't even come. Like the
Yeah.
professors don't even want to come because they don't want to park
Deal with
or,
parking.
it's
Oh, no.
terrible.
It sucks because I have a midterm that day, so I have to come.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I get dropped off, so it doesn't, like, I'm lucky.
She was like, I'm not moving it. I was like, okay.
So you guys can tell me ahead of times. If you still coming, I will invite her. If most you think that since you have problem with parking, we can see that. We can discuss for that. So how many of you think you can come this next year? Okay. I will invite her to come then. Yes, we'll try. So you haven't seen the Buddhist nun before, right?
I have
At the temple, of course.
Is it
right?
on tonight?
my aunt.
Okay. Alright, so she speaks English too? Yeah, one day you can.
She works at a UHD.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
What's she doing over there?
Is she a professor?
Financial aid.
Oh, really?
Oh, administrative?
Oh.
Yeah.
She still wear the robes and me to work there, or she wear
Her hair is all gone for the past like 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think she committed like fully like 5 years ago. So like her lifestyle's a lot different, but she still goes to work. And,
Oh, really? She wear the normal clothes to work?
yeah, she wears normal clothes, but she has like her hair all cut off and everything like that. Yeah.
Okay. So probably it's a good experience for you guys, right? Especially for the nun. Can I ask him whichever question you want to ask? Meditation and so. But actually, she just came here with her father, so this is always for a week. After she go back to Vietnam. Okay, so let us move on then. Okay, so this is what they call the 10, the temple.
I'm too far gone.
Okay, so again, this outside monastery, yes, everyone can practice everywhere. There's no limit. It may be applicable in culture, art. Remember last time we talked about Stephen Jobs, right? So he has great idea because of Zen influence on him. When you step out the box, you see different products. But when you still inside the box, it's not easy to move on, especially if you run a business or whichever way, whichever role you want to have the food, until the healthy mind, enhance the mind strength and vitality, and free it from bondage of tangible thought and feeling. And practice there and here. You don't need to run away from things. Just be there with that. Of course, if you know these tools, you can handle. Okay, here. So let me go back. That's the main topic today. We call about 5 house of Zen. After Bodhidharma, we have we call 6 Zen master from up, and after the 6 Zen master, it's split out to the 5 house. The Huiyan school, Linji, Caodong, Yungmen, and so forth. So up to now, 4 houses here. These 2 schools still exist in most time in China, actually in Japan. Yeah. So sometimes if you go to the Zen center, that Zen center may belong to Soto and Rinzai or Caodong or Linji tradition. So the one who develops or during the school with Caodong is the Dongshan Linji. So his story is about this. When he was young, as he was a novice, so he decided what he called the Heart Sutra. We talked about that yet. Heart Sutra. This is very famous. Heart Sutra is very famous sutra that people recite every day. Heart Sutra. It's talk about, remember, I think I told you, forms in emptiness. Emptiness is form. That's what about. And so in that passage, in that sutra, I said that there's no tongue, there's no eyes, there's no ears, there's no body. And so when he was novice, he read that part. After he read that part, and he went to see his master and asked, you know, I have my eyes, I have my nose, I have my tongue, body, and so forth. So how come this sutra say, I don't have eyes, I don't have nose, I don't have my body? So the master said, you better go to see different teacher this level you. You understand why? What that sutra say, there's no eyes, no tongue, no body, and so forth. What's mean? What's mean? Remember? Yeah, so when you see, the important thing is to recognize the nature, the pure nature that go beyond this physical body. So that's why we heard the sense that whole grab this corpse around. So you understand now. So that's why this social sutra say it's implied that don't attach to your forms, don't attach to your eyes and so forth. Just recognize your nature here. That's the essential meaning there. So that's what happened to him when he's young, and later on when he grew up, he went here and there. It's a tradition for the monks in the past to go here and there to study from many great masters. And when they get older, when they have some kind of enlightenment or awakenings, they sail down and build their own temple or teach other people. That's a tradition there. So this is what's called the Caodong school here. So he and his close disciple to create this type of school. And this school based on it still exists from now up to now, but in the 13th century, Dogen, this is next week, there we talk about that, about him too. the one who came from Japan to spread this Caodong or Soto in Japan, in Japanese. Yeah. And there's just two sets in Japan now, the Soto or the Caodong or Rinzai or Rinji. That's what we talk more about that. Soto, Zazen. So they emphasize on sitting meditation, and sitting rows and lotus become sleep relaxing. Upon attendance, deliver a blow to the back of his with an encouragement stick. You see this one here? The stick here, they carry around. Intend not to harm, but to refresh, to remind them not to fall asleep. So in this, with the Soto Caodong, they use Quan, the contemplative questions, or sun illumination. That's just there, and somehow you recognize the Buddha nature. That's the way they use. But when we talk about Rinzai, it's a little bit different. He used more stronger methods, and he classifies three categories of students: those who see but do not yet comprehend the Dharma, those in the process of understanding, those have already understood. So he categorized his students in that three groups. And this is most important. 5 rank probably may be confused for you. I always explain step by step. This is important thing that we learn. Let me skip this one here. Yeah, here's this what they call the 5 rank. Personal within universal. Here, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study Buddhism is to study about yourself, your psychology, your mentality, your spiritual life. That's what it's about. That's the first step. The second step, to study the self is to forget the self. What does it mean? Not attach to yourself. Not forget the self of accumulated habits. Right? The habit, whichever habit there. And conditioned state, from the voice to the sound clearly. To study is to let go of that attachment of the habitual patterns. And this is the second step. The third step is to forget the self is to be actualized by remission here. Probably maybe to try to make the world conform to the self is hopeless. You understand that? Like you try to say, this room should be set up in the way I like to. Every time, but not that the case. Some chair may, every day when they go to school, they need to park at a certain spot. What happens if someone come out early than you? Yeah, and if you don't let go, you will be angry, right? So that's why if you try to make the world comfort to yourself, it's hopeless. You try to relax it, you try to attach it, it's hopeless. Painful, disappointed, allow the mirror stance, full range of assets is fulfilling, stimulating, and satisfying. Just go with the flow. Yes, probably if you come early, you can park that spot. If you come late, or you protect that spot, you move on different one. So that's the whole idea there. And when actualized by the mirroring, your body and mind as well as body and mind of others will drop away. Will drop away in the meanings that you again let go of all emotions, speak, reason, and so forth. Just recognize, accept, and so forth. The acceptance of the way they are. That's the fourth step. And the last step is no trace of your realizations remain, and this no trace of continuous, and this is just mean you are one with things. You are in tune with your driving. You are in tune with your food. You are in tune with your walking. That's just what I talk about. So that's just what's called 5 ranks. Okay, so it may be love the concept, but still that's later on when we study about the modern mindfulness practice, they utilize some of this kind of theories and principles too. All right, so see you on this, and probably we may cut short this subject too.